Welcome to the Indie Music Room, a conversation with independent artists about writing, recording, performing, and promoting their original music. And now here's your host, Heather Kelly.
Hey everybody, you're listening to Heather Kelly with the Indie Music Room. I want to welcome you to the December 2022 edition of my podcast. And I'm super excited to introduce some friends of mine that I've met in the past. And their names are Kat Darling Short with her husband, Aaron Short. Welcome, you guys. How are you doing?
Hey, great. How are you?
So excited to see you in person again. This is great. I know a little bit about you, but why don't you fill everybody in on about how you met, how you got together, how your music came together, and we'll go from there.
Aaron said we should be ready with all this, and I was like, this will be fine.
It's just a fun conversation, that's all.
Oh, okay. Well, we're the High Crest.
Yes.
That is our husband-wife, now expanded into like husband-wife duo, but now expanded into our family music as well.
Right.
So, the High Crest is kind of it's expanding. We have our daughter, Abilene, who's 14, and our son, who's 5, Rockwell.
I can't even believe Abilene's 14. I met her when she was a little girl, and I love the fact that you always let her come along to all your shows, but I've never met the little guy. So I think it's fantastic that you bring them all into it. So continue on. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. So we've been creating music, together as a family. We've had back when we got together, it was 2004 was when Aaron and I met. Late 2004, and then the High Crest somewhere around 2005 we came up with that name and just started playing together. And then we released kind of the more important moments, I suppose, would be when we started our business 10 years ago here in November, and then we also released our debut album in 2012 as well, December 2012. So this month, December, marks our 10-year anniversary of our first album and our business together. And so that's probably.
So you're both musical, but were you both musical prior to meeting each other, or did you inspire that together?
Yeah, I grew up in a musical family. So I've been playing, 10 years or so live music when I met Kat.
Okay.
She was relatively new at songwriting. She had a handful or so of songs, and I really enjoyed them. I don't know, there was chemistry, obviously, right away. And
obviously.
Yeah, it's still working.
Music as a survival mechanism to get through my younger years, that's for certain. And then once I started writing songs, which was, like Aaron said, right before we met, that's when it kind of definitely became what I wanted to do. I knew it was going to be with me my whole life, and then it wasn't. And I started to explore different songwriters, and that's when I met Aaron and his band, the Creek Dwellers, and was just like, what is this, and why don't I know about this way of making music? And so Aaron really opened up this worlds for me here, especially in Des Moines. We're based in Des Moines here right now. Mm-hmm. We've done some traveling around and different things, but right now we're back at home base in Des Moines. So we're a part of this vital music scene here in Iowa. So it's a big plus for Aaron and
You're definitely vital in the music scene. I mean, I met you guys. I started in 2006, so it was shortly after that when I met you guys. But what I want to tell you that I admire so much is you guys live this minimalistic type life. You go travel, you put the kids in the van or the bus or whatever you do, and you go for it. And I think that's so inspiring. So I love that about you guys. Why don't we talk? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
Listen, I was just going to say, it's just really hard to do unless you, just face it. Face your fears and do it.
Absolutely.
And it's still hard to do.
Yeah.
So your first album was 2013, and that was self-titled High Crest, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you had a follow-up the year after, and that was titled Gone. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2015, 2013 is when we were kind of promoting the first one, the High Crest. Then the other one was promoting in 2015 the double album Gone. And then in 2017 was this is our release route we took, but Aaron released his solo album Watch List, and then I had Rockwell that year. So that's kind of how that's the creative projects we did that year. And then And then we were, I think we've wanted to make an album again. Of course, we have songs. So, I write my own songs. So I have a collection of songs. Aaron writes his songs. He has a collection of songs. We just have songs coming out of our everywhere, so we need to definitely get them recorded.
Other than coming out. Yeah, they're coming they're everywhere, but they're not coming out yet.
That is so cool. I like the approach you guys take. I listened to you gave me 3 songs to kind of highlight today, but I listened to many of your songs. And what I found, and I've done it before, but I haven't caught up on newer stuff. So what I found is it's the most relaxing. It's the most peaceful music. It's earthy. It's really comforting music. And, you're not trying to fit into today's genre. You're Americana, you're folk, you're, folk and roll or whatever I say. So tell me a little bit about how you created the first album. Like, tell me about your recording experience in the first, how you did the first album.
Well, actually with both of our albums, it was very much, we just kind of sat in the recording room together, and we recorded at with Steve Capp, who's now in Detroit, but very live, pretty much how you hear it is
we knocked
how we
out
recorded it. They're very on the first album, I don't believe there's any tracking or anything involved.
No.
So for cost purposes.
I know it's so expensive. It's so expensive.
Yes,
I get it.
Well, I think too, especially with the first album, we were going to be using the album to get more gigs and play more, live shows for sure. And so we wanted it to really reflect what we could do, the two of us together, if you saw us live. So I love the first album, and that's why it's kind of fun celebrating this 10 year, because you get to kind of dig it up again and realize and learn new things about it. But it was just that was the snapshot of who we were then and some of our best songs, and it's still one of my favorite albums. I think that it's a great album to put on repeat, to have in your car on the road. There was just a lot about that album I was really proud of. Roger Feldhans did the art. He's from Fort Dodge photographer, so he did the photography. Blows my mind. It's still so beautiful.
He did 2 of my album covers, by the way. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Go to Byron's, people. For those of you who don't know Byron's, you gotta go. It is one of those great places you just don't want to miss out on. So,
we're not playing too many shows right now, but Byron's was on the list this year because it has to. You want to stop and see your friends. You want to stop and see Byron and play songs.
Make sure to let me know if you guys get at Byron's, and I'm just a short skip from here, so I'll make sure to be there.
Yeah. So the songs from the album, it's kind of fun to dig back in. So what you'll hear, that's why we decided to go ahead and feature those songs here, so we can kind of talk a little more about them.
So tell me about the first song we're going to promote today, All the Time in the World. Tell me about where your minds were and what your collaborative thoughts were on creating that song.
Okay, so like I said before, Aaron and I kind of both write very separately. So this was definitely a tune that came from me first, out of that kind of emotional state. Mm-hmm. It was post having my first kiddo. And, I'm actually surprised how this song reflects in people's lives. Some people just find it very comforting to think about all the time in the world. But actually, when I was writing this song, I actually was thinking how sometimes detrimental it is to think about it like that all the time in the world, and how heavy it is. And it was also after my mom passed away. So, it was this idea of always in my heart, always in my mind, so it kind of was charged maybe more sad to me, but then watching again, as these songs go live out in the world, I sang that song at somebody's wedding because all the time in the world meant so much to them, it was been a whole different thing. So
don't you find it interesting that when you write a song, for example, I wrote one in 2006, 2007, but when you go back to it so many years later and listening to it, it still brings you back to the place you were when you wrote it, but everybody else can have their own perception of what your song was. Just like you mentioned, you wrote it in a sad way and other people found it uplifting. So
yeah. And it was a phenomenon at that moment because that was the first song I ever really released, the first songs I released. So I didn't really understand that, even though I was a listener myself, that whole process is really unique. So it's been good.
you guys, I'm so excited to have you on today. With that said, let's go ahead and take a listen to All the Time in the World, written by Kat Darling Short and accompanied by her husband, Aaron. Here we go.
Seems I'm always missing you. Where are you, baby? I can't do it like you do. And you're in my mind all the time. And you're in my mind where we've got time. All the time in the world. And I can hear your sweet sound. Take me, baby, take me all the way down, down. You're in my mind all the time. And you're in my mind where we've got time. All the time in the world. Tell me, where did you go? It's someplace I don't even know. And you're in my mind all the time. And you're in my mind where we've got time. All the time in the world. All the time in the world. All the time. All the time in the world. All the time in the world.
And that was All the Time in the World. Great song. Loved it. Absolutely. I can see how it can reach out to multitudes of people. So very proud of you guys. Speaking of that, you guys have had a lot of experiences. I mean, we've got we've got the South by Southwest, the 8035 regionally, the KCWI Great Morning Show. Why don't you tell me about your experiences and what you guys do to get yourself out there? Aaron points the cat.
I do a lot of driving to get there,
Yeah.
but there's a lot involved before that. I know.
Yeah, I know I keep reflecting back on these 10 years, but a lot of stuff was built back then,
Right.
and has really helped us continue on. So like a lot of these experiences were, especially some of our like moments were right there in 2015 where we had these opportunities to play 8035 but there was also this really stretch of time where all these, I guess you could say cooler, bigger shows are happening. There was just so many shows that we'd find ourselves at the Des Moines Farmers Market, playing 6-hour gigs there. And, like you just
6-hour gigs,
5 to 6, whatever.
That's not even in my vocabulary. You guys are crazy.
So it was just such a heavy duty time of playing. Like that's when I think about what we've done, I just think about how many opportunities that we've gotten, and just how lucky we really have been getting to play so much,
It's wonderful. So again, you guys kind of live a minimalistic, you've gone and traveled and done tours, and you've got your main place in Des Moines. Are you guys, what's currently going on? Are you playing in Des Moines? Are you in the writing process to record something else, or what's going on?
Yeah, so, well, I would say I like to always bring it up because, that pandemic really made us view things in so many different ways. So
it did this to everybody. Yes.
Oh, wow. I mean, it was just like, just thinking about things and what you did in a different way also made you kind of weigh out what you really enjoyed and what you don't enjoy, or what is necessary, what isn't necessary. And then we're also a family, so we're creating life together. So if we create an album together, the kids maybe aren't on the album, but they're in the process of it, And so I just feel like now we're doing some.
Yeah, we're working on some home recording and learning how to home record
Our music. We want,
Yeah.
too, specifically,
Right.
kind of.
So yeah, we're kind of anchored at the moment. So with a lot of that, working the songs that we're gonna record, meetings. We're having a lot of meetings.
Great.
A lot of meetings, a lot of action. We're voting, we're doing what we got.
Well, one, being parents, two, continuing on with your music career, and three, you guys are both also radio show host at KFMG. I think it's 99.1 in Des Moines.
Yeah, so we've made some guest appearances there to host the Iowa Homegrown.
Okay.
We love doing this kind of stuff. So like some of the stuff we're really trying to focus on is not just recording songs, but also creating a lot of things with the art that we like to do. So Aaron, he got a broadcasting thing, so we could do like broadcasting, like right. To maybe a drive-in show, like some other options we're really starting to like think on for next year. We want to do our own podcast because we so enjoyed the Iowa Homegrown, and I'm doing a little bit of writing for Iowa Public Radio now, like highlighting.
You should absolutely do your own podcast because you two are so fun together. Yes, do it. Good.
Well, we love it. We really love to talk to people about creativity, and because we're parents and life on top of that, we're humans. Like we can't go out and see the shows the way we want to, but we're so enthusiastic about music and making music together.
Yeah, and everybody has an amazing story. Love that part of the interview.
That's what I love about doing this. Everybody's story is so unique about how their process was. I get a kick out of it every month. Now, I want to ask you, during the COVID, when everything shut down, did you guys do, like releases, like live releases online, or did you play house parties, or what'd you guys do during that time when everybody else was shut down?
Yeah, so we kind of had this really crazy moment when we were renovating. So we renovated our van and our 1950s, it's like a canned ham camper, so a little vintage camper. we gutted that. Aaron did all that work with some assistance.
My dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Multi-talented, yes.
Yep, and so then when that got done, we decided our first test run was down to Yuma to visit my musical brother down there, and we got down there, and that's when the pandemic hit, while we were out in it. And then we drove straight back, and then kind of sat still for a while, but then decided, well, we still want to travel. We didn't know what that was going to mean, but we knew we wanted to keep going in it.
When we came back, we did 15 live streams.
Right away.
We recorded the audio of them, and we're also sitting on that recording. So
we called it Hunker in the Bunker.
Yes.
I love that.
And I have a little.
That. You should trademark that. Hunker in the Bunker.
And we got to, we have the recordings, it's a little project that's almost solidified to like release, but it's just been such a slow process to get back online and, to get ourselves back where we needed to be. So we ended up recording that, then going out again and being out for the rest of that 2020 and 2021 out. We snowbirded down in Yuma, and we traveled to Oregon and through California. So we did some traveling like that. We did a lot of playing down in Yuma too. So we were always doing music, but it was a lot harder to access it while we were on the road in our little rig.
Yep.
So once we got back here, that kind of became, our main focus on, well, how do we want people to absorb our music? How do we want to do this? We know we have a lot of work to do. I know that much.
The next song we're gonna play is Belong. Tell me a little bit about who wrote that and what the thought was behind that.
Well, I wrote that one. That would have been really close around when I met Kat. I think I was so yeah, it was
2004, I think.
2004. Yeah. What was that? There was obviously with the content, there's a lot going on. There's a mention of the Iraq War. I think that was going into another run of homelessness. There's some addiction touching in there, a little. So it was a heavy song. It was one of those that really hurt to write, but it felt a lot better.
Therapeutic, right?
Yeah, once it was written. And it's one of those that I look, I don't play it a lot, but when I do, a lot of it still means exactly the same thing. And there are a couple of things that's like might realize that what I was saying that I didn't know that I was saying then too. So
yeah,
it does evolve, right? Yeah.
You know what I think? I think music across the board, people that are musicians, they write a lot of times therapeutically. And I almost related to you with this song, Belong. I've been there myself in the past. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a listen to that. And when we come back, we've got so much more to talk about. All right, here we go with the song Belong, written by Aaron Short.
I got drunk last night, woke up broke but I felt alright. Got up and I went outside, bloodshot eyes I could not hide. Leaves on the trees are starting to wilt, day by day just like my guilt. In my head where it likes to chime, be damned if it don't take some time to feel like I belong anywhere, anywhere. I got a brother that works too hard. He's got a nice big house and a nice green yard, and another brother that I don't see, but he goes to church 3 days a week. My dad's retired and now he's set. He's a hard-working man and a Vietnam vet, and my mom's disease gets to her nerves, but she stays on track and she don't swerve, and I'd do anything for all of them. Anything. So why do people wonder why people go crazy? Why does this vivid picture seem so damn hazy? I read the paper and I get sad, 'cause there's people dying and people glad. I don't know why we're in this war, but Dad says he's seen it all before. I don't think it's a good fight when we're dropping bombs on their kids at night, so they turn around and they kill ours with bombs that they're loading to their cars. Be goddamned, I don't feel we belong over there. So why do people wonder why people go crazy? Why does this vivid picture seem so damn hazy? Got drunk again last night. I couldn't sleep and I couldn't write. Wound up stoned and went to bed, and had bad dreams all in my head. I got up and I went to work. I got ran off the road by a pissed off jerk who hates his job and hates his wife. His kids hate him and he hates this life. I'd be damned if he don't feel like he belongs anywhere. So why do people wonder why people go crazy? Why does this vivid picture seem so damn hazy?
That was Belong, written by Aaron. Aaron, a great song. Again, I think a lot of people could be able to relate to that song. So, well, tell me a little bit about this. You do your radio show, you do your music. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned your first person that recorded you. Can you give me his name again?
Sure, Steve Cap.
Okay. And so are you guys now learning the process of like Pro Tools or doing it in-house, or are you visiting other studios?
We've done some visiting of other studios. There's always trying to absorb, any kind of knowledge. I know that it's a hard, it's a tough thing. I've done
You
a lot
guys, you haven't visited Junior's Motel recording studio. You were waiting for you.
In 2002,
Okay.
with the Creek Dwellers, had a blast from what I recall.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So I've been told anyway. Yeah, I love that studio. I love that setting you got there.
Well, since I came on the scene in 2006, because of my women instincts, I've made it pretty cool here. Kurt needed a little help in the decor area, but anytime you guys want to come down, give us a call. I think we're really equipped for what you guys do with music.
I would love to come down there.
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
Oh, we've been.
Oh, we froze. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Can we come back? There we go. We froze for a bit. Go back to what you were saying.
Sure. So some of this is just truly out of necessity of wanting to output our music, in a way that's just more streamlined too, easier for us. Like, we're just trying to figure out how to do this the easy way for us, run a business, make music, release to our audience, and also maybe create some, I don't want to say boundaries between us and the fans and the listeners, but also like knowing what you want to give out there, versus everything, like being intentional about what we're creating, I guess.
Right. I totally get that. Are you guys releasing your music on a digital platforms, like DistroKid or whatever they're doing nowadays? Or are you guys still doing physical releases?
So we're going to actually use this opportunity with our 10-year album to start. This is going to be live with this, but start our Spotify channel, make sure we're available in global distribution and everything with at least our first album. So that's how we're celebrating our 10-year and trying to come back online. I still feel a lot of this has been, we've had a long way back around between everything that we've been through the past 5-6 years. It's just been hard to get back around. So
I don't know if you guys knew this, but in addition to still releasing music and the podcast, I also have people that come to me to set up their digital distribution careers. And I've been doing it I've got several artists underneath the Junior's Motel label, but I've got that option. If you ever want to contact me, I'd be happy to show you the ropes to get it up there and how it works. And I will tell you, me being with DistroKid personally, after the physical releases kind of, they're so expensive to put out, I went digitally, and I'm making money for the first time in my life. So, I mean, if I can ever help you guys with getting that set up, please let me know.
Yeah. And, that's the whole idea of like accessing these songs. Like, when you go and play them live and that's the only place people can listen to them, like it's just doing everything, just felt like it was doing everything disservice. So we're definitely like trying to find, this is where we start. Yeah. This is how the music can reach so much more for us too, which I think will bring back a lot more. I was going to say gratitude for the job.
Affirmation. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But affirmation and just, I don't know,
Make sure to get a hold of me after this and I will help you guys out.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Now I'm super excited about this third song we're going to talk about today. It's got a video. Love the video. I don't know who recorded it, but this is going to be Something in the Wind. And Aaron, this one was written by you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about the song, and then I want to hear like the video production, what you guys did for this.
Okay. Something in the Wind. That was well, the video was shot out in Southwest Iowa, which is where Kat's mom's family farm was.
Okay.
And I wrote that song shortly after she passed away. The wind farm was in the
Installed,
talks.
I
Yeah,
guess,
it was in the
or-
process of being installed, and there were
Oh, you mean the big wind?
yes, the
Okay.
very
We
large.
have those here at the farm too.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's kind of a. There are things that I in the like some of the song lyrics, some are just kind of quotes from people that I from the area. Some were very much for it, some were very much against it. A lot of people, not understanding exactly what it was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. I remember after we released the video, somebody commented, "I can't tell if you're for it or against it," and I was like, "Good," because it's really not about my opinion. It's just a overall feeling of
Sure.
major change.
Yeah,
So,
major change. I was just gonna say that.
some of it was very
Personal.
yeah, some of it wasn't even the farm itself. Some of it was about her dad and Kat involved in like moving on without her her mom.
Right. And so we got to record the video. Aaron, it's all us. We did the self-production of the
Wonderful.
video. And then,
One camera, about 6 hours of footage for 6 minutes.
Yeah. And the fun of editing that, right?
Yes. Yeah, stayed up all night for that one, but very quick. I got it. The OCD kicks in, and I stayed up all night editing.
Been there before. Absolutely.
to have like this visual, like almost scrapbook a little bit of this of that time and place, and so that I really found that to be one of my favorite things about this creative process, actually.
With that said, let's play the song Something in the Wind. And we're also, for those of you who are new to my Indie Music Room podcast, all this will be available. This whole interview will be available on the YouTube channel under Indie Music Room with Heather Kelly. So with that said, here is the song in the video written by Aaron Short called Something in the Wind.
Something in these hills, something big on the horizon, and it's not standing still. Excuse me if I'm skeptical, please excuse my fears, but history repeats and it feels like my past is getting near. The wind is ripe for the harvest, I guess you might as well. It pays more to sacrifice the land, and the economy's gone to hell. And the kids will not remember that it ever looked this way. But the kids will not remember that it ever looked this way. Something in the wind telling me I should leave this place and don't come back again. I cannot remember message heard so clear. I can't outrun all my past or a single fear. Something in these hills, something casting a shadow on me, and it's colder than hell. I can't stand September since you went away. Now you won't tell me where to go, only that I cannot stay. Something in these hills, there's something big on the horizon, and it's not standing still. Excuse me if I'm skeptical, please excuse my fears, but history repeats and it feels like the past is getting near.
That was Something in the World. Video, song, great, great, great. You guys are amazing. You both look so calm and comfortable in that first scene where you're just standing up there playing. It just looks so organic and natural. I love it. I love what you guys do.
Thank you.
So yeah,
I feel I was much younger then. I will say that. So I was like celebrating 10 years.
that's why I was afraid for you guys to see me on video today, is because I was like, I don't look like I used to, but will they still recognize me?
I knew right away who you were. Right?
Okay,
It's
great.
still us back there, you know.
I know.
But I was like, at first I was like, I don't want to even celebrate 10 years. And then I'm like, no, you know, you got to, first of all, you can't be in denial.
Part of the journey. Part of the journey.
Celebrate your accomplishments.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it 10 years. That's
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit? I know that you've got your Facebook page and you've got your official website. Let the viewers know how they can reach you, if you have any other social media platforms, or let them know how they can follow what you guys are doing.
So, I mean, I think the best spot is always the highcrest.com.
Okay.
I have, you know, our videos and our releases or our schedule up there. Like, we're not playing a lot of live shows right now, but we are in the planning stages of some live streams this winter. And so, you know, that's the best place. If we have any highlights, I'll throw them on the blog. I've
Wonderful.
Yeah, so that's a great spot to kind of find us. I actually, Facebook's great. Instagram is a great spot to kind of scroll back through our travels and stuff, and some of the other things we've been doing.
What's your Instagram tag?
At the High Crest.
At the High Crest.
Yep, and then Facebook/the High Crest. Everything's pretty much the High Crest. YouTube/the High Crest. You know, these are all.
And High Crest is HIGHCREST, not
yeah. Yep, and the is in the front of that too. It's very
High Crest. Well, I'm telling you, if you don't have it exactly right, it's hard to find. So I wanted to get that out with you guys.
Yep. So, and then we're on Bandcamp too. So like that's where the best spot to find the album that we're talking about is on Bandcamp. I'm going to be I'm kind of the one that kind of gets into the nitty gritty online stuff. And
Me too.
Yeah, so I have a little work. Like I said, I have a lot of books to do.
Why don't you get more involved?
He is. Oh my gosh, he's all studio. Like,
Yeah,
it
no,
is all
everybody's got their gifts. Yeah.
right. Oh my gosh, and like, but when it comes to like all the tech marketing stuff, all that crap, that's all me. And
So
the artwork, and I do the illustrating and stuff too for some of the art. I illustrated our Wave logo. You'll see that
That's
when you see
cool.
that. That's yeah. So, yeah, like you said, we all got our strengths.
Absolutely. Here's one thing I like to ask all of my guests, and I really support indie artists, but what would be your advice, being in this for 10 years now, to an up and coming new artist, not with the physical releases anymore, new age artist? What would your advice be to them?
Do you have anything you
I
want?
mean, obviously, just keep going. For 10 years at least, just keep going. I think there's like, I mean, you can, how do I word this? You can hope and have goals.
Mhm.
They're gonna fluctuate. I feel like, you know, could even be from year to year, and not get frustrated with that. Because you need to make a lot of adjustments all the time.
Actually, mine would reflect on that. Like, running your art and doing art and music is a business. Okay. So like understanding that, but you can still be your own business. So like just kind of like simply understanding what you need to do what you love. Like if you love playing live, what are the things you need? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of people, there's so many avenues in this music business. But if you're an original,
You're so right. You're so right.
yeah. And there's so many people that want certain things and need certain things. So it's like, just keep understanding the best way for you to reach other people.
Authenticity.
And the reason why I'm saying this exactly right now is because I am still working on it right now, so I just feel like our whole motto of this 10-year celebration is like 10 more years.
Yeah.
If 10 years doing it better, being more knowledgeable about who you are, just understand that all those skills stack, and I get to work with youth with Girls Rock Des Moines. And I coach rock and roll bands. Abilene is a girls rocker, and so
Wonderful.
I've been really getting to see where you start, and what I look like there, and now understanding more about where I'm at now. And it's just like a lot of that same following your own way of doing it still applies, just
I'm with you on that, Kat. I'm 17 years in now as of this year. And looking back, what I was in the beginning to where I'm at now is, you know what I mean? But I agree with you. And Aaron, I agree with you too, that you just keep moving forward and be, who you are as a person. And that I totally agree with you both.
Yeah. And so many challenges, so many hiccups, so many life curveballs, it's just like all of that's supposed to be happening. It is.
I know it. That's just life, right, guys?
Yeah.
So with that said, you guys have to come visit me up here, 90 miles at Junior's Motel Recording Studio. But with that said, I want to remind everybody that you can find them on the Oh, here comes the old lady in me. Drop my glasses. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Here comes let's see. It would be www.thehighcrest.com, www.facebook.com/The High Crest, and also on Instagram. So make sure when this interview comes out, you can share those on your platforms. That would be great.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same. And also, I want to tell people that you guys are the artist of the month for December, but let's take these off now. That's not pretty. As December comes around, I want to remind everybody that we do an annual holiday show as well. So any of my previous guests I've ever had on the YouTube channel or on the podcast are more than welcome to submit a holiday song if they would be interested in being on that. So just to let everybody know, it's been my privilege to have Aaron and Kat here, and I've enjoyed all this, and catching up with you guys has been great. So with that said,
Cool.
yeah, it's just been great. So with that said, I'll see you guys soon. And everybody else, have a happy holiday in December. Take care.
Oh,
And
yes. Happy holidays from the High Crest, too.
happy holidays. So with that said, thanks for tuning in. And I will be back with you for a January 1st New Year's Eve spectacular. Thank you, Kat and Aaron. And my best to you.
You've been listening to the Indie Music Room with Heather Kelly. Be sure to listen every Saturday and Sunday right here on FortDodgeRadio.com and subscribe for all our past and upcoming shows. The Indie Music Room is a production of FortDodgeRadio.com.